Okay, folks, we're broadcasting live, so let's get started. Even you, Sheriff. All right, I don't ever pound on it, just tap it. Let's get going. Turn off your phones and anything else that makes noise. Any papers go to Mr. Curran. We'll be starting with the invocation by Commissioner Harrison. I'll do the pledge. If you wish to join, please rise.
Please join with me. We gather together today intent on doing good work. We seek to represent fairly and well those who have given us this task. Please give us the wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and righteousness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even when there is honest disagreement, and give us the patience to listen to others. Please give us personal peace in our lives and joy in our tasks, and let us also remember those who are no longer with us, our servicemen and women putting their lives in danger on our behalf, as well as the emergency responders, noting that this week is National EMS Week. Amen.
Amen. Please join me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Bell.
Here.
Curran.
Here.
Freeling.
Present.
Harrison.
Here.
Hinkleman.
Here.
Majeri.
Here.
Ott.
Here.
Hitchford.
Here.
Ballrath.
Here.
Werfel. Here. Yarborough. Elliott.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Minutes from the 18th need to be approved. Is there a motion?
So made.
Moved by Pitchford. Is there support? Supported by Volrath. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion or hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Madam Clerk, I understand we have at least 3 communications. Is
Yes,
that
you
right?
have received 3. A resolution from Lenawee County Board of Commissioners on opposition to legislation preempting local control, received on May 18th. An email from Bridgman City Clerk Sheila Wrights regarding the City of Bridgman Corridor Improvement Authority meeting be held on June 12th at the Bridgman City Hall, received on May 19th. A resolution from Livingston County Board of Commissioners sharing Veteran Service Department enhancements with other Michigan counties, received on March 18th. That's all.
Very good, thank you. Public comments regarding resolutions, including the 3 added, ending in 24, 32, and 33. Anyone have anything to say about resolution? Sir.
Pelzer, Hager Township.
Get near the mic if you would, Mr. Pelzer. For the rest of the world to hear you.
Okay, the 217, the one about, help, general operating millage. Now you have in there, some of them are reduced, but you don't say which ones they are. I'm curious about that, like the general operating millage, you got the 4 point, whatever it is, the 911, law enforcement, senior citizens, parks. Some of these were reduced, which ones were raised? You didn't say that, did you? So that didn't tell me anything, just how much you're getting from the taxpayer, $57 million, yeah, $1 million. No, 1,000. No, that, I don't know, can you? The county is $9,583,000,000, and your taxes based on that. So You just write something like that. I don't know who wrote this, but it sure wasn't for the public. And I'm part of the public. Okay, so next time you come up with something like this, you know, if it's goes up or down, put it on there. Because you don't want it to, want people to know if the taxes go up on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar, including the 3 added resolutions ending in 2-4, 3-2, and 3-3?
Would make that motion.
Moved by Freeling. Is there support? Supported by Volrath. Any discussion? Sure.
I wanted to clarify on the resolution that's ending in 220 about the Lemon Creek drain extension. You'll see only my signature on the bottom of that. The committee asked for some further discussion on that occurred today. And so I think they've moved forward, both Rayante and Terry, to sign off on that. We just needed they wanted some further explanation on what actually occurred there. And that's call it an orphan drain. It's in the Willow Creek subdivision on Lemon Creek. It's a problem that has some perpetual water problems. The road department and drain commissioner worked together to get that spur put into the drain so it drains well, and answered a lot of the questions. And so they wanted further clarification. That's why there's only one signature on it. Now the resolution, though, they have signed it. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Very good. Thank you. Any other comments? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Curran,
Yes.
Freeling. Yes. Harrison,
Yes.
Siegelman.
Yes.
Majerick,
Yes.
Ott. Yes. Pittsford,
Yes.
Allraff,
Yes.
Werfel. Yes. Bell,
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 11 yeas.
Thank you. According to the agenda, need to do a couple of appointments to something known as the opioid settlement task force, which I think is the product of the health department. And going to appoint Julie and Terry to be on that task force, if you wouldn't mind. Since you're appointed, that means it's a per diem eligible activity. At some point, we might want to ratify the creation of that task force, because it was done apparently by the health board, which is an advisory board. And then my understanding is the purpose of it is to give us some advice on what to do with the money when it comes in. But corporate counsel, should we in some way ratify or endorse the creation of that task force?
Well, I think it's up to the board. I don't think there's a requirement to do so. But if the board wishes to receive formal recommendations from the task force, then I think that would be a good idea.
Bob, you're on there now. You're on the health board. What do you think?
I think that'd be fine.
All right. Well, in your copious amounts of spare time,
We can prepare a
do an
resolution.
enabling resolution.
Will do.
Okay, thank you. All right, so you're appointed effective immediately, and you'll be eyes and ears for the rest of us. Are you on there currently or no? No? Okay. All right, so that's done. Committee reports, admin, Jim.
Thank you, Beck. First in to see us this morning was our 911 director, Caitlin Samsel. She talked about staffing. She's still down. She should have 33 telecommunicators. She has 24 that are fully trained and 3 that are in training. Because of staffing, she has transitioned back to doing 12-hour shifts. And her staff agree with that. They like that 12-hour shift. She highlighted a couple of her employees. Dispatcher Carolina Moreno. She received an award that is from the National Emergency Number Association. And the nice thing about Carolina is she is bilingual. So she also handles any of their Spanish calls. And then she also wanted to let us know and highlight another employee of her, Pendra Adams. She is a dispatcher and she got the Gold Line Scholarship from the National Emergency Number Association. So she was rather proud of those two individuals. She provided us with some stats. Let's see, this is for the state report. They handled 80,712 calls, 73,000 of them and some change were in St. Joe, or in Benton Harbor. The rest of them were down in Niles. She said they're cutting down on their administrative calls or calls that are being really routed in the wrong direction. They're not for 911. They're doing a much better job of calling who they need to call rather than just calling 911 and being routed. Let's see, text to 911, 204 callers. 177 of those were incoming into the 911 center. 155,810 calls for service. So they are busy. She talked a little bit about the 800 megahertz signal enhancement. The VHF, everybody's aware that that was done away with. The VHF is continuing to be dismantled. It's not supported anymore. And the dispatch center. Niles dispatcher Mark Fitzsimmons was honored at the 911 Advisory Committee as the telecommunicator of the year. So that takes care of Caitlin. Then we had Scott Sanford. And if you recall, the first time Scott came in to see us, he really didn't know what he was supposed to present to us. And so we kind of gave him some guidance. Well, he shows up today with about a 20-page document. And we said, okay, that's a little overkill, Scott. We don't need that many, but I will just highlight some of the things that he gave us here. He's still meeting with Robert Ray and Daniel B on space over at the courthouse because MIDC says you got to have a privacy place to talk to your clients, and that does not exist now. So he's working with them over at the courthouse, and also the funding for it. And I think he said it was 100 and some odd thousand that he submitted to MIDC to make that happen. He talked about the 2023-2024 grant request, which is basically his budget. He said it's been submitted and is pending review. A meeting for that purpose to approve it is set for June 30th. He's hired a new chief assistant public defender, and that is Carrie Brizano, and he spoke quite highly of her. And he also talked about staffing shortages in his department as well. You know, I think that's kind of countywide, and it's not unique to us. He did tell us that MIDC is raising the rates for our contracted attorneys, so that may help a little bit. He also reiterated his concern that juveniles may be brought in-house and that we are going to then have to hire staff to deal with juveniles. Hasn't happened yet, but it's on the radar. It's coming. For that purpose, he brought to our attention that I think he's going to talk to Brian about the language for our juvenile contract. It's up at the end of this year, so they're talking about maybe just doing a one-year contract because we still don't know what the state's going to do with that. So that is the report from Indigent Defense. Then we had Mark Heiliger, our road department director, in to see us. And I think he was at finance. Yes, this is a finance resolution that we approved today for the Willow Valley subdivision. He also brought to our attention Chickiming Township in the village of Sawyer for a streetscapes project. He's asking for us, the Board of Commissioners, to do a letter of support, and then the road department will also do a letter of support so that Chickiming Township and the village of Sawyer can apply for state grants. So I understand he's going to get with Annette. A resolution is going to be drafted It'll come through admin, but it'll come eventually to the whole board for approval. And we did not see a problem with that. I think we've done that in the past, where we have done resolutions of support for various projects. You're looking at me, am I speaking out of school?
Yeah, can I add something?
Yes, ma'am.
So every year, every 2 years, you guys do a resolution in support of recreation projects and parks projects and those kinds of things. So I've given that to Mark because I believe that that might address what they need. We do that specifically for that purpose, so the Board of Commissioners can express support towards those kinds of grant applications. So I gave that to Mark and we're gonna see if that will work.
You give that to him before or after he came to see us?
I believe it was after.
I thought
You
so.
guys are already, but I just wanted that, now you have the update. So
That
that's-
explains it. Okay,
Thanks.
well, okay, then Board of Commissioners, you may see something, or if our blanket one that we do will suffice, then you won't see it. Okay, then we have some resolutions for you next time we get together. Resolution ending in 214. This is to our contract with Daniel B. Outlining some of the projects and the dollar amounts that go with them for the phase 3 that we talked about previously. Resolution ending in 227. After a traffic study was done, they've determined that they need to put a 4-way stop in at the intersection of Ontario Road and 3rd Street in Niles Township. So that will be coming. Resolution ending in 229. This is the sale of the Three Oaks property from us to the village of Three Oaks for $1. So that is what that resolution is all about. And then a resolution ending in 231 is the contract, or to approve the contract with RW Lapine in the amount of $383,315. And this is to do the plumbing at the jail and at the courthouse. And that is our report.
Any questions for admin? Okay, we'll go to PHS. Bob.
So we met this morning. Big item was the meeting with the Laura Freeling, the Register of Deeds. She provided her annual report to us, as well as the update on current topics in the industry. So she's noting a drop in property transactions affecting property revenue for her department, and that's probably the biggest takeaway. Otherwise, stable staff, all positions are filled. We also had the privilege of having the chairman of our board in to speak with us regarding some issues and things to keep in mind. So it was a good meeting, and that would conclude my report.
Any questions for PHS? Finance?
We had we went through one bid approval for the sheriff's departments for a couple of outboard motors. There were five bid requests sent out. One came back in. It was for outboard motors from somebody that they do approve of for. And so we passed that on back to the sheriff's office. There was one waiver request approval that we had for some replacement parts on some of the chillers that were needed from Andy Egan, and we approved that as well. As far as the resolutions go, we had the one to pay the bills. You've already passed that one, and the one for the Willow Valley, already passed that one today. For next week, that 2 came up. One is for the blight elimination funds that being provided for us for some blight elimination in Buchanan and Sodas Township. That'll be coming to you next week. And then one that we put on hold until we can get some counsel from you, Thaddeus, and from our administrator concerning the Historical Association's repayment plan. We would like some more clarification on just exactly what the structure should look like going forward. So that being said, we've asked for some clarification, and I believe that we requested it for next week, but next week is a night meeting. That's correct, and so it'll probably be the following meeting, and then we'll try to get some clarification. So that, while that resolution was dated for June 1, it won't come before the board until we'd like to get some clarification from them. And then we'll move on that. Other than that, we approved the minutes and visited with our chair. That's all.
Any questions for finance? Okay, well, what do we do next? Commissioner reports, I think. John, you want to start?
I'd just like to, just mention the memo that Brian sent out to you guys regarding what's going on with the city and Silver Beach. And right now I'm trying to, talk over some plans with the city on how to address that. And there's an ongoing conversation between, us and the, Parks Department and the city on just how to address that issue. And hopefully, very soon, we can come to a resolution. That concludes my report.
No report.
No report.
I attended the Bering County Historical Association Board meeting. Every year they do a signature event, and this year their answer to that is called Pharmapalooza. And it will be in October, and all the commissioners will receive an invitation, so if you're available for that, it's a nice outing. Couple of other highlights, and their calendar of events is on their website. But June 16th, that weekend, they have the Pickle Fest, and then the following weekend is a Lumberjack weekend where they have the guys who throw the axes and stuff. It's very nice event. That's my report.
Monday, we had our, I guess our final, judicial and public safety meeting until probably September, October, but we did our platform, we got it approved and, got all that business taken care of, and we'll be off for the summer now, and, that's my report.
Monday, I had the MAC HHS meeting, and we too finalized for the summer with the approval of platforms. No major changes to those this year. And then I'd like to take a minute to thank the county for taking the lead. Mr. Peltzer, we had a full house this morning. It was great to see all our cities, villages, and townships here for a concern that, affects the entire county. So that was really nice to see this morning, and I'm really glad that we took the lead on that for those people.
No. Tuesday, I went to the Nats meeting, and just a lot of house cleaning. They were doing that, explaining the projects. Biggest controversy we had was, in Commissioner Curran's district, is Gumwood is getting a roundabout. And I don't know how, I haven't seen the plans yet, but they're gonna combine both the roads and, but that's been pushed back to 2024, and they're gonna bump up a project in Cassopolis. And so there was a lot of talk between both of them. Who's this good for? What's gonna happen? A lot of controversy, but it ended up, it's all good. Everybody's moving forward. I'm glad to see Gumwood, because I do hate that intersection of Gumwood and Redfield. So that's my report.
I was light on county meetings, but heavy on farm work, which John, I'm sure you can attest to too. So it's nice to have nice weather happening. I would like to take a moment just to welcome Adam Scheller. We had a presentation on solar, and Adam actually within Baroda has an array. He's always willing, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here, but always willing to let anybody tour the facility to talk about what his experience has been. And so he's always my go-to as it relates to solar energy, and it's good to have you here this morning. That's my report.
The administrator has no report. But my understanding is that he's watching on Zoom, which means he must really be bored this morning. We have a little housekeeping detail to tend to, for which we can thank Mr. Peltzer. The resolution ending in 17 that he commented about and asked about millage reductions. I think that section of the Constitution in the opening paragraph is Proposal A, in Article 9 of the Constitution. But in the third whereas, because in the second one, it says have been reduced if necessary to comply with Proposal A, basically. Well, and it wasn't necessary to reduce because inflation was running so high that that provision in the proposal said, keep it, because people are spending more money for dog food and you name it. So there was no reduction. But the paragraph after, the third paragraph says, whereas those reduced millage rate, the word reduced should not have been in there. Thank you, Mr. Peltzer, for catching that. We appreciate your scrutiny, and also appreciate, was it Warren Parrish who then checked it?
That's right, yes.
And so we need a motion to amend F 2305217 to remove the word reduced from the third whereas, so that it would instead read, whereas those millage rates are set as follows, not whereas those reduced millage rates are set as follows. Is there a motion to amend 5217?
I will make that motion to remove the word reduced.
Moved by Ott, supported by Bell. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Freeling,
Yes.
Harrison,
Yes.
Pinkelman, Majerick,
Yes.
Ott,
Yes.
Pittsburgh,
Yes.
Walrath,
Yes.
Werfel,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Curran,
Yes.
Elliott.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, there's 11 yeas.
Thank you. Corporate counsel, you're authorized to line out the word reduced and place your initials on the original resolution to reflect the correction.
I will do so.
Thank you. All right, now we have kept the earth from being tilted off its axis. So, general public comments are now in order.
Okay, Pelzer, Hager Township. Now, I still got a complaint about that water fountain. You know, last week when I came down here, I think before it started, I walked all the way down there. Finally, I got down to the end. I asked the lady for some water. Guess what she gave me? A bottle of water. So apparently, the people working here, they don't drink out of the fountain. There's only one dinky fountain over here. It only dribbles a little bit. Nobody, no employee except for him there. He's trying to show me. So what I'm saying is, the employees are using our money to buy water because they don't want to drink that. Now that's an insult, as far as I'm concerned. That thing ought to be thrown out. And if you want to know which one you should replace, go down to South Shore Racket Club. They got a filter in it. You put a bottle in there, and the water stinks. I think I complained about that once before. They put too much disinfectant in there. You know, when I flush my toilet, I got one of the little balls in there, you know, disinfectant. That's what it smells like, right there. And we're supposed to be drinking that. You ought to get a filter in there like they do down there, so it doesn't smell. I'm sure the city down here, I already complained to them, you know, and she kind of sent somebody out there. Well, it's 1.7, you know, it's okay. It's within the range. But one of the first things that people do, they want to get some decent water. You guys can't even come up with something decent, spend all that money on this and that, and patting yourself on the back, giving out awards all over the place. I suggest put bottled water out there if you want. Or out at the senior center, we got the 5-gallon
2 minutes, sir.
little cups. What'd you say?
Time. Thank you, Mr. Peltzer.
Did I hear shut up?
No, not ever. Just so you know, we don't buy the bottled water for employees. If they bring their own in, they can put it in one of the refrigerators, but we're not paying for that. No. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else wish to be heard? Other business? Anybody have any? I have a question under other business. And when I spoke with Brian by phone yesterday, or Tuesday, I don't know. Anyway, the question was, do you want to meet on July 6th? We have a night meeting on July 13. We didn't schedule it on July 6th because of its proximity to the 4th of July. And he wondered if we wanted to cancel the 6th of July. And then instead of having a vacant this Thursday, meet on the 27th of July. So we'd still meet 4 times in July. We just would not meet on the 6th. What's your pleasure? Pardon me? Oh, it's not?
June.
Oh, June, okay. Well, then we'd meet 3 times in July. Anybody have a problem? Okay, well, Madam Clerk, would you change our official calendar to reflect that we are not meeting on the 6th of July? Well, I was just corrected. July has 4 Thursdays. No, but we're not meeting as it stands right now on the 5th Thursday in June. So we'll have 2 weeks where we don't meet. You're smiling, I see. Understood. Employee who will be unnamed and who's not in this room said, we'll be doing cartwheels down the hallway if you don't meet 2 weeks in a row. So we can't argue with that. Reminders, we are closed for Memorial Day. And our night meeting on June 1st is at Froelich. Did I pronounce it correctly? Okay, in 3 Oaks. So, anybody have anything else? Sir?
I just want to clarification. I have written down, you're saying July. July 6th, you're saying on that meeting?
Correct.
I have it written down the night meeting at MSU. That will now become the 13th.
Should have been the 13th all along.
And we see good. July 6th, that's still going on or that can't?
No,
It's up to you.
yep. We'll determine that on the 8th.
All good? We're adjourned. Thank you.